Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles. This is today's easy level puzzle called The Wrogn Cage by Wook. And here are the rules. Standard Sudoku rules apply, which means the digits 1 through 9 appear in every row, column, and box. The cells in the given cage, so there's only one cage, and it's a very big one, are fully infected by false information. Interesting. Intriguing. All clues within the cage are wrong, meaning not entirely correct. All clues outside the cage are correct. So I think that means the clue, if there's a clue within the cage, it can never be entirely correct, but it could be maybe partially correct. We'll see. We'll see how this works. For yellow Nabner lines, quadruple clues, maximum cells, and XV dominoes, common rules apply. So the yellow lines are Nabner lines. The quadruple clues are these big circle clues. Okay, let's just read through all of them. Nabner lines. No two digits along a Nabner line can be consecutive, regardless of their position on the line. Digits may not repeat on Nabner lines. So, for example, if you have a Nabner, say you have this, just choose this one. A valid Nabner line is something like 1, 6, 3, or whatever, because none of them are consecutive. Hey, we got a celebration, but that's celebrating too quickly. For example, like a 2, 3, 6 does not work because the 2 and 3 are consecutive. So no two digits along the Nabner line. So even if this was 2, 6, and 3, that wouldn't work because 2 and 3 are consecutive with each other. It just has to be consecutive with any of the other digits on the Nabner line for it not to be correct. I think that's correct. Basically, you just can't have two consecutive numbers on the same Nabner line. Quadruples. Digits in a quadruple circle must be placed at least once in the 4 cells touching that circle. So, for example, if this was a correct quadruple, there would have to be a 6 in one of the 4 cells surrounding this circle. Same here, this would have to be a 5 if this is a correct quadruple. There has to be a 5 in one of the 4 cells around it. If this is a correct quadruple, there has to be an 8 and a 9 surrounding it. If this is correct, a correct quadruple, there has to be a 5, a 6, and a 7 surrounding it. Now, you can't have repeats. You can have repeats if Sudoku rules allow, but you must have at least one surrounding the quadruple clue. Excuse me. The digit in a maximum cell is greater than the digits in the 4 adjacent orthogonally connected cells. So this is a maximum cell, and it has 4 little arrows which point that it's greater than all the orthogonally adjacent cells next to it, if it is entirely correct. Same with this, same with this. So if this is a valid clue, or correct clue, shall we say, that means this has to be greater than all the 4 orthogonally adjacent cells next to it. And orthogonally just means sharing a cell. Sharing an edge. This would be diagonal. This is orthogonal. Diagonal is not the same as orthogonal, so that's that explanation. XV dominoes. Cells separated by an X must sum to 10. Cells separated by a V must sum to 5. So if this is a correct value, these two squares must sum to 10. If this is a correct value, these two cells must sum to 5. Pretty straightforward. Not all X's and V's are necessarily given. There are no negative constraints. So there could be two other cells in the puzzle, or multiple other cells in the puzzle, which also add up to 5 and 10. It's just that we have specific information about these. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay. So all the rules in the cage are at least partially incorrect, or not entirely correct. So that means there cannot be a 6 here, because the quadruple says that this would be a 6, and for it to be not entirely correct, there cannot be a 6 there. Same here with 5, therefore we know the 6 has to be one of these 5. The 5 has to be one of these 5, since they're both in the cage. The Nabner lines now basically mean that these are consecutive, these are consecutive, these are consecutive. These do not add up to 10. These do not add up to 10. These are consecutive. So this Nabner line is outside the cage, so therefore it must be correct. In addition, the V is outside the cage, so that must be correct. So if it's a V, it adds up to 5. So it could be either 2 plus 3 or 1 plus 4. But this is only so if this was 2 and 3, that already breaks the Nabner line. So this has to be 1, 4. This cannot be 5 because the 5 would have to be... this can't be 5 either. So this can't be 5 because there's no 0 and 5 in this one because it's digits 1 through 9. This can't be 5 because the Nabner line prevents 4 and 5 from being on the same line. So that can't be 5. Therefore, this is 5. And we know it's specifically in the cage, so it cannot be correct. So it has to be consecutive. So it's either 5 and 4 or 5 and 6. This is greater than the 4 surrounding cells. So we have, this has to be at least 4 because there's 3 unique digits that it's greater than. So this is 4 through 9. Similar comment here. This is 4 through 9. In addition, we know 8 and 9 have to be along here. So the 8 and 9 has to be within one of these 4 cells. If it's not here, that would mean there's an 8 and a 9 on this Nabner line, which has to be correct. So that can't work because they're consecutive. Therefore, this has to be an 8 or a 9. And so if this is 8, this is greater than this. So 9 can never be here, right? If this is 9, that's always going to be equal to or greater than this number. Well, greater than this number. So this has to be 8, and this has to be 9. This has to be consecutive, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This X is outside the cage, so we know that so this has to be, this cannot be 1, 9 because the 9's here. It can't be 2, 8 because the 8 is here. So this is either 3, 7 or 4, 6. This V is outside the cage, so it's correct. So this has to be 3 or 4, which means this is 6 or 7. So this is 1 or 2 with it there. If this was 6 or 7 in either of these cells, the problem is the other 6 or 7 would have to be there, which means there's a consecutive digit. So this cannot be 6 or 7. This has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be 1 through 7 because we know that this maximum clue is correct. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the possibilities, which means 7 and 8 have to be here. This can't be 7 or 8 because this is outside the cage. Therefore, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 also. Therefore, this has to be 5 here. So this can't be 4 or 5. This has to be the 6. So this has to be 5. This can't be 6, which means the 6 has to be here. This can't be 6. This can't be 6 because of these two cells. So the 6 has to be one of these, so that eliminates all 6s in this column. This 6 means that can't be 6. Therefore, this has to be the 6 because there is a 6 surrounding it, but all 3 of these cells were eliminated. There's also a 7 and a 5. This has to be the 5 because that 5 is eliminated there. Therefore, this has to have a 7, and we know that's outside the cage, so therefore the clue is correct. Therefore, these two must add up to 10, so it's 3 and 7. This is smaller than 6, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is smaller than 6, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This has to be the 3 because it's smaller than 6. This is 7. So this can't be 3 anymore. This x is outside the cage, so we know that that's valid. This is consecutive because it has to be, it's not the nabla line is not correct. So this has to be a 6 or a 9, which is consecutive with the 7 or 8. The 5 is here, so there cannot be a 4 on it either, so this can't be 4. Which means either this is 1, 4, or this is 4. So this can never be 1. If this is 1, this can't be 4, but this can't be 4 either. So this can't be 1, this can't be 4. This cannot be 3 or 7. This cannot be 4 or 6, so it's 1, 2, 8, or 9. If this is 9, that would not work. So this could be 9. This can't be. If this is 8, this isn't the cage, so there must be some part that is not correct. So if this is 8, all 4 of these would be correct. So this cannot be 8 either. So this can't be 8 or 9. This has to be 8 or 9 also then, because there's no other place in box 7 to have 8 or 9. So this has to be 1 through 7. Can't be 5 or 6, obviously. None of these could be 7, so this has to be 7. So this forces this to be 8. That's 9. This is 7. Because this is a nabla line which is not correct, which means they're consecutive. Therefore, this is 1 or 2. This is 8 or 9. So this can no longer be 7. These are consecutive. Okay, 9 cannot be here. This can't be 1 or 4. It cannot be 2. It can't be 3, 5, 6, 7. So this has to be 8 or 9. If this is 9, the 8 would have to be on it because that's not correct. And that would eliminate all possibilities here. So this cannot be 9. The 9 is limited from this, and from this. So therefore, this is 9. So all of these are 1 through 6. So this cannot be 5 or 6. This can't be 5. The 5 has to be here, which means this is 5 with 4 or 6. We don't know which. Because the nabla line, the nabner line is not 6, is not correct. So it has to be consecutive. So 5 is one of these. There cannot be a 1 here. Okay. This is 5. So 7 is not greater than 8, so that is not correct. 8 and 9 are consecutive, so that is not correct. 1 cannot be here. Okay, so this is 1, 4, which forces this to be 2. So this is 2 and 3. This has to be 7. There's no 2 or 3 here. There's no 3 here. So for neither of these to be correct, we know there's a 4 and a 6 here, so they cannot be next to each other. Therefore, this cannot be 4 or 6. So therefore, this is a 4-6 combination, which means this is 1, 2, or 5. This cannot be 1 because then this would be correct. So this is 2 or 5. The 1 has to be here, which means this cannot be 1 and 4. So this is 2 and 3. So this becomes 1, 5, 1, 5. This has to be 2. This has to be 4. This is 1. So this becomes 2 and 8. This is to add up to 10. This is 4. This is 9. This is 3. This is 1. This can't be 4 anymore. So this is 5, 6. So this can't be 6. No 1, 4. This can't be 3. So this, by process of elimination, this is 2. This is 3. This has to be 4 then, because you have a 5, 6 pair. This has to be consecutive, so this is 7 and 8. This has to be 1 and 4, just from leftovers. This is 6. This can't be 1, 3, or 4. These are consecutive. Okay, so this 10 is a correct clue. So it has to be either 1, 9, cannot be 2, 8. Cannot be 3, 7. It could be 4, 6. And it can't be 4 or 6 because that's eliminated from here. So therefore, this has to be 1, and this has to be 9, which means this is 5. That's a 1. The 9 has to be one of these two. Okay, let's just fill this in. So we have 1, 3, 4, and 6. But 6 has to be here, and 1 has to be here. So this becomes a 1, 6 pair. So this cannot be 1 or 6 in the rest of the column. Therefore, this has to be a 3. This is a 4 because that 4 eliminates the 4 possibility there. This becomes 1, 6. Here we have 2, 5, 7, 8. Oops. 2, 5, 7, and 8. So 7 can't be here. So this is 2. So 5 has to be here, right? If this is not 5, this would be a 2, 8, which would mean that this clue is correct. So the 5 cannot be, 5 has to be here. This can't be 2, so this can't be 5. This can't be 5, that can't be 8. So the 7 is one of those two. We have 4, 6, and 8. This can't be 4 because of this. This is 4, 6, and 8. We have in these three, it can't be 5. So it's 4, 2, 8, and 9 as a possibility. So this can't be 9 here. 1 cannot be here because this is a 1, 4 pair. So therefore, and 1 can't be anywhere else here. Therefore, this is a 1. So that's a 4. That's a 1. That's a 4. 6, 1. No 4 is a possibility here. Therefore, this has to be 4. And we have 2 and 8 here. So 2 could be consecutive with 3 and 1, but the 1's already in that box. 8 can be with 7 or 9. So because this has to be consecutive because the clue is wrong. This has to be consecutive, so it cannot contain a 2. It can't be 5 because 5's only consecutive with 4 and 6, and those are already taken. So this has to be 8, and that's 9, which makes that 5, 7, and 2. This is 2. This is 3. This is 2. 7 and 8. 3, 5. This can no longer be 2. What do we have here? This is 4, 8, and 9. So that can't be 4 because of this 4. We have 1, 3, 5, 6 as possibilities. So this can't be 1, this can't be 3, this can't be 5. We need something consecutive here. The 2 is not consecutive with anything possible. And so it has to be 5, 6, and 7. Assume this was 6, then this would be 2, 5, 7, which would be a valid... Oh, wait, we need this. This has to be valid. So this is... Right, this is not inside the cage, so this has to be valid. So this is 2, 5, 7. So this can't be 2 or 5. This is 1, 3, 6. Triplet, so this can't be 6 because we have 3 digits in 3 cells, so that eliminates those 3 digits anywhere else. So this is 5, this is 6. This is 5, 6, or 8, or rather 5 and 8 because the 6 is here already. This becomes 6, 7, and 9. Those all seem valid. This is 2, 5, 7 as a valid. Okay, so this is a valid 10. So it has to be 4, 6, or 2. Can't be any of those except for 6 because of this 4 and that 2. Therefore, this is a 4, this is an 8, this is a 6, 5, and 8. This has to be 2. Oh, yeah, because we already knew that was 3. Huh. So this is 8. This can't be 2, so this is the 2. This is 9, 4, 8 because of all eliminations. This is 7. No 7 here. So this is 1 and 7, which makes this 7 and this 1 because this 1 eliminates that possibility for 1. 3, 5, and 9 are here. 5 and 9 eliminate any 5 and 9 here. So this is a 3, this is a 1, this is a 6, this is a 3, 5, 7, 9, 6. We have a 5 and a 9. And that's a solution. Seems pretty straightforward. I would consider it probably easier than easy. But that's just me, maybe. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.